I am T White. This is my guy KJ.
Yes,
We got
sir.
AJ on the proverbial ones and twos. Welcome. It's Monday night. Let's get locked in. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling?
Good, good. How's your week been?
Good, man. So far it's been good, man. I got a little sinus infection. You know what I mean? Trying to fight that, but besides that, I'm good, man.
Appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Feeling well. How's everything going with the 75?
I've had to restart.
Okay.
I've had to restart.
Okay.
My lady's brother had a little birthday party,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we,
Of course.
had a couple drinks flowing.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Had a little cake, some sweets.
For sure.
So I had to
I think the
reset.
the beauty part from the outside looking in is like if you restart, what happens? Like you had one day off,
Yeah,
and now you get to start back at day one.
yeah,
And
yeah.
your body still gets all the progress from the 15 days that you did.
Yeah,
You know what
sure.
I mean? So
And that's
it's
the
like
thing for
it's
me.
creating good habits.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing for me is I've let that one day in the past become multiple days.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? It's been a week, it's been a month, you know what I mean? So jumping right back on the horse and getting right back to it is an important part for me. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, like I didn't do it, but I've incorporated like different elements of it.
okay.
So I've incorporated the reading, or I've incorporated the working out. Like I went and like today, I mean, like I have like a 5,000 steps a day step counter. Before I used to do 10, but I really like stopped being focused on fitness or whatever.
Okay.
So now that I'm at 5, like I'm like gonna have to up it because like over the last week, like I've been able to get my 5 down just from my workout alone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm really like, just going shooting around and like just kind of like doing the push-ups in between, just like really locking in on my workout more and more,
Yeah.
and just like just trying to like continue to focus on improvement. Like the gallon of water a day, like I'm getting into all of it, like, so it's really cool. How about you, AJ?
Oh, I'm straight. I'm chilling.
Last week's been good.
Yeah, so I mean, I had some time to do some things for myself. Had some time to kind of run around, get some rest, which is well needed.
Word.
Just
Did you
basi-
start the new gig yet?
Nah, I didn't start yet. So I'm supposed to start this week.
Okay.
But basically, I had to get a COVID shot. I had to get all this other good stuff, just so I'd be up to par because it's working for health insurance, and they want to make sure the IT personnel are healthy. I mean,
Got you.
I thought I was healthy before, but apparently I wasn't healthy enough.
Nah, I hear you.
Right.
So, quick update. Of course, you don't see the whole group. We still have AJ recovering, recovering from his shoulder surgery, and we'll definitely see him in the coming weeks. Hopefully next week, but keep him in your thoughts and prayers. His humor is greatly missed. And he is our connecting thread, so it just
For sure.
it proves that he's cultivated a good group, because we've been able to still put together good conversations without him. Not that we want to, but
Right.
that it's able to happen. It's great that
Yeah.
Absolutely.
sometimes it's good to see that we're actually all cool without the person when the glue guy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Like, you
for
know what I
sure.
mean? Like, it's like we're all mutuals of somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
I
when,
agree.
when everybody's the mutual, it'd be like, well, if I don't go, like, the whole thing's blown up.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's good to see that we all still hold to the commitment here at the collective, and I
For
love
sure.
that.
Yeah, man, definitely. One man don't stop the show.
For sure. So,
That's it.
speaking of one man, how would one man feel if he had to choose between his lover or his friend?
Man, it's a loaded question, man. There's just so many variables. I think the more information you have, the better informed you are, the better the decision you get to make. Ultimately, my personal belief is it's on the individual, it's on the man in particular to make his own decision. But it's always best to be well informed.
Got you.
I can definitely see how maybe a significant other may feel like their opinion should be valued more.
Okay.
I don't know if that's always necessarily true, but I can see how one may feel that way. What say you?
I think, I mean, that, you know, it's a great question, but it's very loaded because context is so important.
Yeah.
It goes a million different ways, and I mean, you're talking about, sometimes you're talking about love versus love and loyalty. You know, you love your friends that you've come up with, or you know, sometimes it's your day sums. It's not even your day ones.
Right.
But you know, either way, those people are important to you, and they're there for a reason. And like you'd like to think that you have people around you for a specific purpose or for a solid purpose. Now, it gets weird when the people that you've selected to be your people have different points of views
Sure.
in regards to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you picked your lady not under the same criteria, but under a criteria of like, this would be a good person to have around me.
Right.
Same thing you did with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have those things button heads and you're in the middle of that tug of war.
Sure.
And it's just tough because, I mean, I think depending on what happens with any of those groups, you could be wrong. And you never want to be wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to go back to your lady after she warned you about your friend and your friend disappoints you and she gets the, not that it would be the right thing to rub it in, but you know, in a point of contention, she gets to rub it in.
Sure.
Or she gets to hit you with all types of I told you so's. Like, I knew he was going to hurt you. I knew he was going to not be there for you. I knew you were counting on the wrong type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or I knew she was going to play you out. I knew she wasn't going to be solid.
Yeah.
And your friend is saying that after you kind of like push your friend away to cultivate this relationship that
Sure.
eventually ends up failing. And then now you come back to your boys with your tail tucked between your legs like I guess you had a point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you have blind spots where it comes to those types of relationships. And also, I think certain people in your life play certain roles. You know what I mean? So, kind of lost my track.
I mean, but all friends aren't the advice friend.
Yeah, exactly.
For
exactly.
what, to your point about certain people having certain roles.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I wonder if that works against you, because you got to think about it. Like, so if your friend that is the advice friend
Mm-hmm.
comes to you with something, okay, you expect them to say something critical, maybe insightful.
Sure.
But what if it's your other friend? What is it?
But like,
Oh, gotcha. What if it is the other friend? And at that point, what if it's your other friend and they're actually and they seen something, so they're just reporting back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're used to not taking his opinion, but he has an opinion. Is it valid?
Yeah, I think that's when you have to start to use discernment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes the person that you least expect could be giving you good food.
Right.
Sure.
You know?
That's a very, very valid point.
Yeah.
And I think it's scary. Like like I'm sorry to the people listening if we can't give you a clear-cut answer, because this will always go in a million different directions.
Sure.
And I mean, I don't know, like even if you talk about lovers, if you talk about loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
like you know what I mean? Like what do you do when like loved ones versus loved lovers? Like you know what I mean? Like what do
Right.
you do when it's family saying
Mhm.
something about your lady?
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, nah, but for real, because it gets dicey. Because like, all right, who do you pick? Like, yes, your day ones or your family, they've known you the longest.
Mm-hmm.
But does that necessarily mean that they know you? Like, how many people can actually say that like they're like, all right, we grew up with our cousins and we grew up with our parents and our siblings, but some people would argue that their friends know them more than their family members do. They know them well. They know how they act. They know what they like, what they don't like. They know what they put up with from family, and just smile and say it's cool. But really, in reality, they're like, "Yo, I hate that they do that."
Mm-hmm.
Like, so who do you choose, and how do you decipher it when it comes to matters of the heart? Like, all right, your girl feels like your man's is detrimental to you from a point of success. Like, he's not going anywhere. He's not doing anything. He doesn't. He's the Tommy of the group. You don't know if he got a job or not. But Tommy was a dope. Like, we all watched Martin. Tommy was a dope character. However, you don't know what Tommy does.
So dope.
Right. So,
And I hate to say it, but to the point of Tommy was a good friend because his selling drugs never actually was brought around him.
right.
Right.
He did his dirt all by his own.
For sure.
He didn't like say take this drive with me.
Right.
And then everybody all got jammed up. Like, so, you know.
Cole definitely would have went down. Cole would have went down.
But I mean,
and to speak to that as well, he never really held anybody back either. You never really knew what he was doing or where he was getting his bread from, but it never stopped Martin from being successful or thriving in itself. So.
and I think that's important when you speak of the metaphoric Tommy
Right.
and say that this guy lacks motivation, like be very careful with what you're saying about that person because that person may be very supportive.
Right.
He may not do anything in your eyes, but like, you know, look at the things we're trying to do here.
Right.
Like if it's content creation, like he might just be like such a supportive person that's a person that isn't busy with his own plan.
Right.
And you could have been like, yo, bro, I just need you to sit behind this computer while I'm like loading up these episodes. And he'd be like, all right, you show me what to do. I ain't got nothing to do.
But essentially,
But
like,
when all your friends have an initiative and a plan, like, can't necessarily be supporting cast. Like I'm main character in my own story right now. I got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
right. But I know, I think it's essential. But like, these are the things that really happen in real life. Like people look at those people because they don't see what they view success to be, or what they perceive success to be. So when they see that, they're like, "Oh, this person's dragging you down." Like we can go away from Tommy. We can go from Jay-Z to Memphis Bleak. Like,
Okay.
how much did Memphis Bleak build up Jay-Z, or was he just kind of riding the wave? Like, or we can go to Dame Dash. Like Dame Dash helped Jay-Z to get to a place, but then after a while, like, they kind of went their separate ways. I don't really know the whole story, but like,
I mean, there's that's a tough story because there's women involved.
but that's also tags into the question. Like, all right, so who do you choose?
Yeah.
Like, Jay-Z looks at it from a point of view. I don't know who the woman was, but like Jay-Z.
Oh, Jay-Z really had eyes for Aaliyah.
That's what I thought it was.
And he was like they weren't official at all,
I got you.
but they were talking enough. And Dame swooped in and wiped it.
Oh, that's wild.
and then he also tried to use revisionist history and act as if he wasn't fine with the R. Kelly thing.
I
And
got
all
you.
of a sudden he made R. Kelly this bad person because he was defending Aaliyah's honor and how Aaliyah was taken advantage of and how could you stand by that? And,
Huh. Muddy waters. But nah, like, but these are the things that come up in conversation. Like, so like, what do you do? Who do you choose? How do you determine who to choose? And then like, or is there a correct answer?
I think ultimately you have to choose yourself. You know, you have to be steadfast in what you believe. And you're not always going to make the right decision. You know what I mean? Sometimes failure drives success. You know, sometimes you have to lose that friendship or you have to lose that relationship to know how to be better. You know what I mean? But I'd rather have a loss on my terms, on my decisions, rather than taking a loss on somebody else's terms or somebody else's decisions.
Absolutely.
If I believe, you know, what you're saying or what she's saying, you know what I'm saying, and something happens that it turns out not to be true, I'm going to be feeling some sort of way because I didn't make a decision for myself. So I believe you have to stand on your own square, you know, and win, lose, or draw, you got to make that decision for yourself.
I got you.
But taking all the information, you know what I'm saying?
I believe that anyone in any capacity, if you're the friend, if you're the lover, whomever is in the middle should not be forced to make a decision. to choose a side, for lack of better words.
I got you.
I believe that just because we have that glue that I've referenced, AJ being like, it doesn't mean that we have to be friends.
Right.
And like, you know, your lady doesn't have to be friends with all of your friends.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to go to your respective corners, depending on the issue, of course.
Of course.
But you can be like, oh, okay, like, you know, like that's your friend. Like, I get it, he's your friend.
Right.
And he can be like, I get it, that's your lady.
True. It doesn't have, they don't have to overstep boundaries. I get you.
And I mean, sometimes that's best. And when I think of Terrell saying, choose yourself, like, if your people love you like that, chances are they should elect for something similar. Where it's like, yo, it's not, like, unless it's something detrimental, like, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I guess that's your cheat day from being productive.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're productive 6 days out of the week, but whenever you and Tommy get together, you all of a sudden love playing 2K.
I get you.
And, like, yeah, I get it. You want to be on this rigid path of, like, progression, but, hey, should he really stop hanging out with a childhood friend because you don't see an inherent value in him? When maybe, like, he's just like, maybe his value is that sanity, that stability. Maybe his value is him, like, that being the yin to his yang and balancing them up.
Yeah.
You know, little stuff like that, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's such a, not knocking the question, because the question is super, it's vague, and, like, I guess we could, like, come up with, like, 3 different examples
So
that would make you go either, like, will make you go this way, then that way, then this way.
Yeah, definitely.
absolutely, I think you could come up with different examples to make you side to either way. One example that I have in my mind is historically. Historically, what used to happen is when they chose a president, the vice president was of the opposite party, which I think is interesting. It's like, all right, if I have a Democratic president but a Republican vice president, right? They're not going to agree on a lot of things. However, because they don't agree, I think it gives you the best option for both sides. Because, all right, now, like, because, like, it's what a good relationship comes with. Like, all right, you and your spouse have different ways of thinking, but whatever you guys come together with as a unit is the best that can basically come about it. Like, so, like, coming from different points of view, like, now I can look at, all right, so I'm thinking about it from a financial standpoint, you're thinking about it from a living standpoint. Like, all right, so I'm thinking about money, you're thinking about, all right, comfort. However, like, even though I'm thinking about a money standpoint, I also want to be comfortable.
Right.
And even though you're thinking it from a comfortability standpoint, you also don't want to be broke.
Right.
Like, so, like, basically seeing those two things combat, like, basically what I'm trying to get to is that maybe you don't always have to lose that friend or lose that lover.
Right.
Maybe both of them together keep you in a space where, like, all right, cool, I got this person to kind of round me out here and this other person to support me here, so I can basically round out who I am.
Yeah.
Which brings it to another point about I think we might have spoken about it before we started recording about change, and, like, you know, like, people desiring to be like this all-encompassing thing for you.
Right.
Like, you know, some guys are used to their bro being single and
True.
like being at their disposal. Like, yo, man, like, not in a bad way, but like, yo, every time I need some advice, bro's there.
Yeah.
If I need to move a couch, bro's there. If I need to do this, like,
Right.
I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the fact that I'm gonna call him and it's not gonna click because he's with Shorty. Or, you know what I mean? Like, oh, now you find yourself being, I'm a sucker for love or whatever I'm gonna call you because I'm upset. You know what I mean? Because I'm salty. Like, man, leave that girl alone. Get up out her face. Like, like, yo, man, like, we about to go to the bar. Like, you know, we go to the bar on Thursday. What you mean you want to take her to dinner? It's like, yo, bro, it's my only day off this week. Like, I'm gonna take my lady to dinner. It's like, oh man, like, see, it's already started.
Yeah. I knew you was gonna do that. I knew you was gonna be like this.
You know what I mean? So when it's things like that, you don't necessarily want the change. Or I mean, I hate to say it, but the opposite dynamic, like I hate to say it, but like relationships can be time consuming
Absolutely.
when you have a real life and you have work and you have
Right.
you have children. And, like you know what I mean? Like that. Like a relationship falls immediately after a lot of things.
Right.
And sometimes you can be in a relationship with your lady, and then one of your boys, his relationship ends, and all of a sudden he has new free time,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but your lady don't like that,
Right.
because now he's the drag out friend,
Yeah.
and that would lead to your lady kind
That's
of
a
like
drag boy.
Yeah.
being like,
There'll be a little bit of conflict there.
yeah, and that's what I think. That's why I'm like, these friends versus lovers things go
Right.
so many ways, because it's like, yeah, you could be mad at her. You know what I mean? What if your boy was on singles night, like we said before, and like
Right.
he seen your lady on singles night.
Listen. That's a whole nother layer.
Yeah.
Like you think she's about to just come back like, yeah, you got me.
Nah,
Nah.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nah, I had similar situation happen where like basically my peoples, one of my guys was dating this girl. Right? So they're dating this girl and everything's cool from my eyes. I know the girl because she was around. So I knew her from when we was playing basketball. She was dating one of the dudes that was playing on our team. So I knew her previously. So my boy is dating her later on in life. We're in high school. So my cousin calls me one day. He's like, "Yo, can you pick me up?" Not anybody that's in the show. He's like, yeah, I had to give the caveat. So my cousin's like, "Yo, can you pick me up and bring me to Shorty's house?" All right, cool, whatever. Say no more. Exactly. So I pick him up. I drop him off. I'm like, this, but I know where they live. So I'm like, this looks familiar.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I drop him off. But it's an apartment complex. So I'm not thinking anything of it until she comes downstairs. And I'm like,
I don't even hit the buzzer. Stay low. Stay low.
But nah.
Broken.
So I'm thinking, so she's like, "Oh, we're on a break, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 this, and the other." I'm like, "Listen, that's none of my business." So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to keep out of it. Like, I had no idea this is what was going on. I didn't know he was going over
You gotta
here.
clear your name. You
Right.
just hand delivered your man's to your man's shorty.
Listen. So I'm
Break
like,
or not, I gotta clear my name.
so yeah, so all right, so here's what happens. So basically, this goes on.
First version of this situation.
It is 100%. So basically this goes on, and then it gets real dicey. So basically they end up having a kid, this and the other, but I know both is happening. So I'm like, all right. I tell her, listen, you gotta let him know what's going on. Like, you gotta let my mans know, cause my cousin knows. So I'm like, you have to let him know what's going on, cause I don't want him out here looking crazy because you over here doing whatever you want to do. Like, that sounds wild. So she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, this and that, blah blah blah."
Lies.
Time out. Your cousin had a kid with her, or you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
But
just make sure I'm following.
at this point, they don't know whose it is, or she doesn't know. So what happened was when she gave birth, my cousin, another one of my cousins, sent me a picture. It was like, "Yo, who does this look like?" So
It's a very
it's
on-off break.
right.
This overlap.
Correct. There was some overlap. So I'm like, yo, I know exactly who it looks like. So I tell him, I'm like, whose baby is that? So he tells me, and I'm like, oh, this guy. So now I'm in the middle of it. Now there's a child involved, and I'm still in the middle. And I'm like, yo. So he's over here freaking out because he's like, oh, she's not letting me see the kid, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take her to court. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. So I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, this is wild. Yo, she needs to tell him what's going on, because if all this falls through, my cousin takes her to court, he's going to look stupid in court. And I'm like, yo, that is heartbreaking to look stupid in court in front of your family. So, like, I'm like, yo, you need to tell him.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna tell
I know
him that.
some men that have been there.
Listen.
Man.
So
The thing is, the paternity test is mandatory once you're in court.
Yeah.
So when you find out that you don't have to be there,
listen. But
it hurts.
it definitely does. Like that's not what
should be
you.
mandatory on any birth.
Listen, that's not what you want to find out.
That's true.
So I'm like, all right. So basically, my cousin's like, all right. Now I'm serious. I talked to my cousin. She's a lawyer. I'm about to go do what I need to do. So I'm like, all right, wait a second, because I gotta let my mans know what's going on before you do any of this, because like it's not fair to him. He doesn't know what's going on. She's being slick. She's telling you she's not messing with him. She's like, it's too much, too sticky. So I gotta tell my mans. Like I don't have to,
No, you have to.
but correct. To me, I'm like, I have to tell him. I gotta tell him. So I'm like, yo, let me call you real quick. He's like, I'm at work. I can't talk right now. I was like, well, let me meet you somewhere or something like that. He's like, yo, just tell me what you gotta tell me. Like, he's like, why? And I'm like, yo, I really didn't want to tell you over a message. So, like, I'm like, all right. But because our schedules kept messing up, I couldn't get a hold of him. I'm like, I'm just gonna tell you. Like, yo, so and so, she's doing whatever with my cousin. I didn't know what y'all had going on, because this is, matter of fact, this is after high school, so I'm in my 20s. So, because we're not seeing each other every day like we used to when we were in high school.
Right.
So, I'm like, I didn't know what was going on. She said y'all was on a break. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. It's none of my business. But I'm pretty confident baby's not yours. So he's like, yo, he took it more lighthearted than I expected him to. Because I'm like, all right, my man's gonna want to fight. That's in my head. I'm thinking worst case scenario. I'm about to tell him this, and it's my cousin. So it's not even like I can be like, yo, it's just some dude I know. Like, it's my cousin.
That situation is all bad.
Yeah. So I tell him, and he's like, you took your sweet time telling me. He's joking around about it. He's like, you should have just told me. I'm like, listen, I didn't know how he's gonna take it. I was trying to get her to tell you because I felt like that was her responsibility. But I don't want you out here looking crazy. Like, so I tell him, he's like, all right, cool. So then he talks to her, she writes me, you told him? I'm like, yeah, I told you to tell him. You wouldn't tell him.
Someone had to.
Somebody, like, if my cousin is really serious about going to court about this because you won't let him see his son, because you're trying to keep this story going, like, somebody got to say something. So she ended up thanking me. She said she didn't know how to tell him. But I'm just like, yo, this is crazy.
Wow.
Like, people die over stuff like this. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
like, you're talking wild. I'm like, I don't want my mans to be looking crazy, especially if you gotta go to court. Cause I'm like, yo, your whole family, that is mad embarrassing. Like, in front of your family, to hear that, your friends and your family come to support you at court, to find out that baby that she's talking about isn't even yours, like, that's wild.
I'm mad.
And truth will set you free though, bro. Like,
I'm
bro,
mad.
beyond the embarrassment, man, like that's trifling.
I'm nosy as I don't know what, but who ended up being dead?
It was my cousin. It was my cousin's baby. When I seen the picture, I knew it was my cousin's baby. He looks just like my cousin.
Oh, strong genes.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's just a light skinned version of him. I'm like, yeah, fam.
Oh man, well, thoughts and prayers. Yo, shout out to your boy in the relief.
Yeah.
Being able to, get some clarity in those situations, because those situations are tough. Like,
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? And,
Yeah, that's wild.
and I hate even saying it, but like those situations are tough in on and off relationships.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't necessarily know if, like, the beauty, for lack of better words, the beauty in an on and off relationship is during those off periods, people can be creating new bonds legally.
Right.
yeah.
You have, like, you're not wrong for doing that.
Right.
But then it's like, and it's funny, I have situations way back in the past, but like, you'll, like, during your off period, you mess around and like, you get a real girlfriend.
Right.
And then,
Stuck.
and then your person that's used to, like, oh nah, this is just the cycle. Like, we take 2 months off, we get a couple months on, like, you come back around, like, what's going on? how'd you do this? Like you're messing up our plans here. like
Right.
I thought we was just taking our time off and we was about to get our time back. They come back and you be like, yo, don't speak to me. Like, I got a whole girlfriend. You gotta leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's real life though. But like,
But I mean, that's why I say it's good for him to have like some clarity to be able to
Absolutely.
like. I mean, like those cycles. Once you get into them, it's really hard to like stop.
to kind of get out of it because you're used to it. It becomes a part of life essentially. Like
Right.
because you do this so often, like you just assume, or one other party usually assumes we're gonna get back together. Right.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. I used to feel like that after me. Oh yeah, I can have her back if I wanted to. Like,
that and that happens. You know what I mean? Like that thought, that train of thought.
right.
So I wonder, what do we have for other examples that throw you in the opposite direction?
Hmm.
Like what can okay, how about this?
Yeah.
What could be said by a friend that would make you question the love?
Your lady.
Man,
Since we're doing 1-1.
A lot can be said.
I had a conversation with a different cousin who said they saw my girl at the mall with somebody else,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, why would my cousin have to lie?
It's questionable stuff.
Like, so were you at the mall or not? Like,
Okay, so we'll take that. If that's said, and then she clears it up,
yeah.
where does that leave you and your cousin?
I mean, I'm gonna look at it from the point of view of maybe it's mistaken identity. People see people, they think I'm a hope. That's my hope. If she clears it up, like I'm assuming that the clear up is it wasn't me. So like, but then again, you could go to the Friday scene. My sister-in-law, baby cousin Tracy, like. So I'm gonna try to go with mistaken identity, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep it in the back of it's in my back pocket. Cause like, all right, they say fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So like, that's how I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it off of all right, cool. Let's see if it happens again.
That's messy though, man. That's messy.
It is.
I seen you in the mall. It wasn't me. Oh, man, that's messy.
Oh man,
They made a whole song about it.
Shaggy.
Right. It wasn't me.
But what do you?
But it was him though.
It definitely was him.
Right.
It 100% was.
Caught me red-handed. But okay, so what about you? What do you think in that regard? Like,
Oh man, what can I say?
like what can be said? Like, cause I always wonder, like, okay, so if we take it off of the infidelity or the like, cause I think infidelity may be question worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you take it to let's talk about progress. If your boy said that he thought that your lady was holding you back from your progress, or the type of progress that he's accustomed to seeing you operate, and even if it's the speed slowed down or whatever, he's saying something, feeling that potentially that relationship may be impeding your progress.
Hold me back.
Would you speak to your lady about that?
I think I do a self-diagnostic myself before I check in with my lady.
Got you.
Right? You know what I mean?
I think that's fair.
As the leader of my relationship, I think I have to evaluate what's been different, what dynamic changes have happened since this relationship started, and am I progressing in the same fashion as it was? And it's tough for somebody who's not the chef to know what's going on in the pot. You know what I mean? My bread may be up. You know what I'm saying? My time may be being spent differently, but because I'm not with you, you don't see how I'm leveling up. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the progress and the things that are happening behind closed doors. Just because you don't see me and you don't see me in the same way that you've seen me, you know what I'm saying, in the past, doesn't mean that I'm not still progressing and building in other avenues, in other facets. You know what I'm saying? Because there are times when you have a deficit, but nobody is showing you or helping you to gain space in those deficits.
Okay.
Right? So you may be growing in a space that you weren't growing before because you weren't putting any
Right.
attention to it.
That's
But people
true.
think that you're stagnant in other places when you're just leveling up. You know what I'm saying? Like if you
I
playing
agree.
2K, you know what I'm saying? And your defense is tight, but now you're working on your shot.
True.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's a
leveling
great
up in
analogy.
places where, you know what I'm saying?
Like you're becoming well rounded, and you're becoming like maybe one area is your new area of focus.
Right.
Whereas they're used to seeing you put your growth and development towards another area that you're finally feeling like that's okay, that can stay there while I work on this other thing.
Correct. Correct.
I think that's like a great way to put it. And I mean, back to the point about relationships being time consuming, I just think that people could not understand. Like, you know, they may not understand what you're doing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if you and your lady were working on a book?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would look like you're just sitting up
Yeah.
under her
Right.
for 6 months.
Yeah.
But you're actually like chronicling
You're working.
a journey.
Mhm.
And like this could be like a freaking bestseller or something.
Right. You don't know
And
what
like
it is.
the whole time you're like, yo, man, like you used to be really about something. I don't know what you're doing. It's like actually
Yeah.
about to change my life.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be
Like
J.K.
this-
Rowling tomorrow.
this thing we're doing is working.
Right.
Leave us alone.
Absolutely.
But not leave us alone, but you know what I mean? Like it just comes across that way, and I think it's so tough because it goes the opposite way.
Mhm.
Like if your lady is saying that, like we just talked about it, like you
Yeah.
gotta be like, yo, you don't know what I'm working on with my friends.
Right.
Not in a good or bad way, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know, like it's easy for any of our ladies to be like, oh, you going to do your little podcast?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Facts.
And like, you know, like I didn't think the podcast was more important in this relationship, and you're like, yo, I thought for some reason I could do both.
Right.
didn't
Crazy.
didn't think I had to stop loving you because I like potting.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And I think like, you know, but that's one of those things when it's the either or,
Mhm.
and that's funny because that kind of brings us to the ultimatums that you indirectly went to
Yeah. Yeah.
earlier. So what say you about ultimatums
About ultimatums.
in relationships
I mean,
and or friendships? Since we're on,
I think it just depends on what it is. It is like an ultimatum to me, like because I used to do it too. I understand it to a degree, but I also understand that like, all right, just because you're giving me an ultimatum, like you're giving me choices.
Mhm.
I've always had choices. Like even before you gave me the ultimatum, I had the choice. However, this is something that I'm assuming is important to you. So the question is, when I'm given or presented an ultimatum, the question that my head goes to is this relationship worth it? So like, all right, you give me an ultimatum, you want $500 a week for like we make it like if it was a relationship, like say a girl she likes to spend money, I want $500 a week, like not just I don't really mess with girls like that, but yeah,
I heard you.
Mhm.
like if that was, do I have $500 to give you? Do I?
Mhm.
Like I have, because I obviously I have other things to do with my mind or with my money and stuff like that. But at the same time, like yeah, I do want to treat my lady nice. I do want to get her things. Like
100%.
I don't necessarily usually put a cap on it, but is that something that is that important to me? Like, because my assumption at that point is you're trying to uphold a lifestyle. So, am I cool with this lifestyle that you're trying to portray,
Mhm.
funding it?
Yeah.
And if I'm not, then all right, just gonna have to go our separate ways.
Our company. Job term.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nah, but I mean, I get that. I mean, I would always say like, you know, ultimatums can be dangerous
Absolutely.
in like relationships and
Mhm.
friendships.
Definitely.
Like, you know, I feel like, and this is not critiquing anyone, not you or anyone that has ever used them in the past or whatever, but it just can be very, very conditional.
Absolutely.
And I don't believe that a person should have to adhere to conditions under that type of duress
Mm-hmm.
or under the type of like, yo, either you gonna do this or I'm gonna go.
Right.
Like I feel like it shouldn't have to be that way, and although you end up with the same result,
Right.
there's a way to word it where a
Correct.
person has the freedom to do what they desire.
Well,
And if what they desire doesn't align with what you see yourself being a part of,
yeah.
you can always remove yourself.
So it's a form. It's a form of control. That's really what it is.
It can be.
Like
Definitely.
that's what people like. People do it to control people. They do it as a step up. Not ultimatum, but the question that comes to mind the most is, if you love me, you would do this. Like,
Oh, like when people, yeah.
yeah, if you love me, you do this. Like, which now is a shot of, do you actually love that person? But yes, I do love you. But like, just because I don't do this doesn't mean I don't love you. Like, but that's how people use it. They use it as, all right. They use it as a manipulation tactic.
Yeah.
Or a means of control, a means of having the leg up in the competition.
So, with that being said, sorry to cut you off.
No, sure.
So, if you are in that relationship,
Yep.
where your significant other is doing those type of things, but you're just so, your vision is so blurry because of the haze of love,
Mm.
and your friend doesn't love her, so he can clearly see
Right.
that you are
She's
being
getting you.
love strong and played like a puppet on a string because of how much anything that makes me have to report back to the people within that party that I have vested interest in.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anything about my boy's lady that's gonna make me have to be
Right.
in the awkward position
Right.
to have to report back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my line of work, they call those people mandated reporters.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, at that point, like
Yeah.
I'm like literally like I don't want to tell
Yeah.
him.
Right.
I have. To.
I don't want to be a part of this.
I loved minding my business when it came to your love life,
Absolutely.
and now here I am. I'm just walking in Walgreens,
Mm-hmm.
and you in Walgreens hand in hand.
Yeah.
With the hand you ain't supposed to be holding, not
Right.
wondering what's
Yeah.
going on.
And it puts you in a difficult position,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because your honesty could cost you
Your relationship with your friend.
your friendship, you know. But if you value your friendship enough to be honest with them and let them make that decision, listen, bro, I'm just telling you what I saw.
So with that being said, because we all sat here and mutually understood the risk that you're running while feeling like you should report what you've seen, when your friend meets it with resistance,
Mm-hmm.
if he later finds out, are you more gracious upon his return, or are you still mad that he played you to the side when you just told the truth?
I think I handle it with grace. I think if somebody is in love, they can be blinded by love, as we've already stated. And sometimes people can't see past their own level of understanding.
So you try to give them understanding.
So
when
I
it
would,
comes
I would,
back
I would
up.
try to, I would
It's
try
alright,
to give
bro.
them, I would try. But it's also because they're already taking the L.
Right.
They're already
Yeah.
taking the L. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But it's also too on how egregious they took that L. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to our relationship. Now, if you're like, oh, you just salty because you ain't with nobody
There it
right
goes.
now, and
There
now
it
you're
goes.
you're pushing a whole lot of assertions
Like,
on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you could side with your shorty without kicking my back end in the process.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And if you
Now, if
kick
he did that,
if he kicks your back in, you have every right to take offense to things that are said
correct.
because he's just mad at the world because he don't want to hear that his queen was trying to be in another kingdom.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because only a king can make a queen. A queen can never make a king. He's just a subject.
Talk that talk.
You know? So I can definitely see how that would interrupt. You know what I mean? The bonds between that friendship. You know what I mean? So I mean there's a lot of variables that come with that. I like to think that I would be loyal enough to someone to be like, listen, this is what I saw. But I think at this age and in this climate, I would also be smart enough to use the technology that we all seem to carry around in our pockets on a day-to-day basis. Because you may not want to believe the words coming out of my mouth, but that screenshot can verify.
Does it look
and
like
give
her in
receipts.
this video?
He said, I got some receipts.
Does this video look like her? I thought it looked like her.
I'd ask. You know, I come from a questioning. I feel like being
you know her more
I don't,
than me.
I don't
Who
know
does this
who-
look like?
I don't know who this is, but I saw somebody who kind of looked like Shorty. Could you verify this for me?
Does she have a twin with the same tattoo placement?
You know what her
Yes.
you know what her closet looks like. Does she have this outfit? Was she
Ooh.
wearing that on Thursday?
Does she have the same?
I don't know.
Does she have the same forearm tattoo as her lookalike? Or-
Hey,
Okay.
listen.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, we all could be on the other side of the truth. I'm not gonna sit here and act like people haven't had bad days. I've had days where I wasn't the most honest.
Absolutely.
And you know, if someone's seen me, I don't know, like it's a tough responsibility, man. Like you know, they talk about children. They say children learn to lie almost before they learn to speak.
That's wild.
And the thing is, it's rooted in self-preservation.
In fear.
So
Fear.
exactly. So you got to think like when a person is confronting you with something that you never thought they were gonna say, you just instantly try to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like so you're not really thinking like, oh no, your friend's a hater. You just like, no, I'm just trying not to be in trouble.
Yeah.
That's how kids are when they just
Right.
like no, I didn't break it, he broke it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's like it's a tough one.
It is. It is. Lot of variables there. But
Yeah.
I like to think that the people that I surround myself with are stand-up guys. You know,
ever
but
had
you
to choose?
can't be fooled. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever had to choose?
I haven't. I haven't. I've seen people that have had to make choices like that, and you know, and they've made the choice to depart from all relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can't trust one guy on my squad, then I choose to not trust any of them,
Okay.
and I'm throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Wow. I've had to select I've had a time when a significant other was at odds with my mom. Very, very tough.
Yeah.
And upon the judgment of the merit of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
I could see where I wouldn't say my mom was in the wrong, but her reaction was over the top. So her reaction to the situation was wrong.
Okay.
And I mean, at that time when you're trying to be a man of what is that time your family,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you have to stand up. You know, and it's a very difficult situation
Absolutely.
to tell your mother that you love her,
Mm-hmm.
that you gotta get some space from her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
Mhm.
You know, because I hate to say it, but in that particular instance, there was no way that I'm viewed in my relationship as a man if I'm just like, oh, but my mom said.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, at that
Absolutely.
point, I might as well just like have a toy chest again or something.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm just not gonna come off that grown in that
Right.
I get
regard.
you.
So it's tough. But I mean, you find out if the love that you have for the people that you have to get space from can prevail. If it's supposed to. And I even seen the time where my mom and that particular person were able to get along again. But you know what I mean? Like eventually, cooler has prevailed. And I think
Right.
it's like it's just very interesting when I think of all the different ways it could go. I actually had a situation where an ultimatum was given to a friend of mine to no longer be friends with me.
Wow.
From his chick?
By his then lady.
Yeah, I got you.
And
How do you handle that?
not too many I mean I wish it was a clear cut ultimatum,
I got you.
but more than a clear cut ultimatum, it was actually, how can I say it? It was a tad more manipulative. There were things put in place or said, I don't want to say they were lies, but I will say they're not true. to make him not want to be friends with me any longer. And it was a person that was very close to me at the time. And he elected to listen to her.
Sure.
Which I think worked out for him in the interim. But, eventually that union didn't work out. And I mean, I think sometimes, it's like one of those time will tell type situations.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're willing to do that just to try to have a firmer stronghold on your situation, like, I mean, that's similar to when gentlemen that are abusive
Right.
pull the divide and conquer and the isolation tactics and things of that nature. Like,
Absolutely.
it really felt like that. And I think, I told you, oftentimes with friends, I'm an advice friend. You may not, like, I'm not my business when it comes to a relationship.
Yeah, but if you ask me, I will tell you.
And if you did,
Right.
and if you just think, oh, I think if I insert any doubt in his mind, he'll talk to this guy, and this guy may have like a level head and be like, she's on some bullshit. So she got me out the paint quick. I mean, which is cool,
I mean, smart, divide and conquer.
No, I'm not mad at her war tactic.
Right. Yeah.
Like, do what you do. I just
Right.
happen to be a casualty of it. And I mean, he listened. So
I mean, those are tough situations because it's like, yo, how do I fight that? Like,
you don't.
Exactly.
I never
You
said
can't.
anything.
Yeah.
I never said anything. I just was like, wow. I was like, believe what you like.
yeah. So nah, I was I don't know if I told the story before. I had did I tell a story about with my brother about the rent?
Nope.
Alright,
think so.
so same thing. A lot of stuff happened when I was in college. So I'm in college. This is my stepbrother. I found out about this particular stepbrother when I was 17.
Okay.
So 17, me and my sister find out we have 2 other stepbrothers. We only knew about one. Found out we had 2 other ones.
Okay.
So I'm 17 now. I think I'm 20. No, I was just out of high school, so probably like 19, 20, about to go into my 20s. So I've been hanging out with my stepbrother, me and my sister. This is before I was saved, so we're smoking, we're just hanging out, we're doing what we do, playing video games, having a good time. So I used to always go over there. Most of the time I'll go over there either before school or after school. So either go there early, hang out, do what we do, then go to school, or after class, shoot over to his house because he had his own apartment.
Okay.
This one particular time I brought my friend, but I had already been over there. Me and my sister had been over there.
Oh, you did talk. Yep.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the money story.
Yeah, it's the money story.
Yup.
So while we're there, we're playing video games like we normally do. He's having a party for his girlfriend at the time. Her cousin just graduated high school or college or something like that. So they're having a party for her. So it's me, my friend, his girlfriend's family, and my sister. So we're all there, we're hanging out. and we're playing video games. Me and my brother play first. My brother beats me. After he beats me, no, me and my brother play first. I beat my brother. After my brother gets beat, he goes to his room because they're about to smoke. So then me and my boy play. My boy beats me, and then he runs the game the rest of the night. So he beats everybody else on the table. So when we're about to leave, we leave. I get a phone call from my brother. He's like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm at the house." So he's like, "Yo, did you see any money over by the TV when you was at the house?" I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "There was money over there?" He's like, "Yeah, we had the rent. The rent was on the TV stand." So he's like, "Oh yeah, nah, it's horrible placement." So he was like, "Yo, so he's like, we don't think that you took the money or our sister took the money because you guys have been there all the time. You always leave money out. You guys are always there. Money never goes up missing. But your boy, this is the first time he ever came over. The money, he was right there playing the game in front of the TV. The money was there. The money went missing. So we feel like he took the money." So it was like, "Yo, do you think he stole the money?" And I was like, "I don't think he stole the money, but I wasn't there. I was in the room with you guys, so I don't know. I can't tell you for sure he took it. I can't tell you for sure he didn't take it." So he's like, "Nah, but just tell me, like, which one do you think?" I'm like, "I think he didn't take it, but I can't tell you for sure because I don't know.
Right.
Like, I don't want to tell you, yeah, I'm 100% sure he didn't take the money, then find out later on he took the money. And I also don't want to tell you he took the money, then find out he didn't take the money. I don't know." So I'm the type of person where I'm not going to tell you anything unless I'm sure. But like I said, we had just met my brother when I was 17. So this relationship is new. He doesn't actually know me for me. He doesn't know if my word is good. He doesn't know if I've just been playing him for the last couple of years just so I could get a couple dollars. Like I think it was like $500 or $600, something like that. It was rent money, so like it's not no chump change. Like, so he's like, "Yo," he's like, "because of the way you're talking and you won't just give me a straight up answer, I'm just gonna assume that he took the money and that you was in on it." And I'm like, why would I do that? Like, you're my brother, but at the same time, like, I can understand it from his point of view because, like, if I met somebody and I don't know who they are or their morals or anything like that, like, I can understand, like, not understanding or not feeling comfortable enough to believe somebody who just says, "Yo, I don't know."
Yeah, you know what's crazy though? Not to cut you off, but like the advanced version of that story is like if a person in your circle is on tough times, they know that that's the conventional thought. Like, you have a new suspect in here, so it's gonna be easy to go like that
Right.
and not be to blame. Cause I've been solid for all these years. You've
Right.
always left money around me. Why would you think it's me?
True.
Like that, like you gotta think about it. Like when kids come into school and there's a new kid in school,
Right.
and something crazy happens,
They
they
assume
put
it's
it
a new
on
kid.
the new kid
Facts.
because it's never happened before.
Right.
My cats know that they have an instant out because everybody goes right to the new kid.
Right.
Like, so it's like it's kind of an easy out for the person that was really on some BS. I hate
Right.
to say it, but it's like it's wild that people just automatically,
Assume.
yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not.
I mean,
not fair.
I get it. Like, I get it, and it's rent money. So like, because it was rent money, I gave him that out because I'm like, yo, if it was my rent money, I'd be hot.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to give somebody the blame. Like, I know somebody took it.
I mean, I hate to say it, but give yourself the blame. Like,
well, usually that's what I do. I usually take the L.
I don't have many parties where I just leave. Like, you don't even leave your house messy.
It's true.
Like, you just kind of tidied up before randoms came, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's not that random, but it's random because it's like, yo, I said you can come and you could bring mutual friends.
Right.
I don't know these niggas.
Right.
True.
At the end of the day, my rent money don't sit on my TV stand when I'm in the house by myself.
Right.
Because what if somebody ever broke in my house? Why would my money be that visible?
Right.
So I mean, like, that's like, yo, that's a lesson learned for him in life. He could blame whomever he'd like to blame, but he'd be playing himself if the next month he still had the money that he was sitting. I don't care if you put up $40 a day, and every
Right.
single day you just add to the 40. Get a box.
Yeah.
Get a
Sure.
piggy bank. Get a safe.
Don't
Get a
leave
something.
it in the living room where everybody who comes in your house has got access to it.
No, like it's
Yeah.
like yo, if y'all was playing 2K or whatever video game in the bedroom,
Right.
I'd be like, okay, maybe. But
Right.
like
But
you
it was
just
in the
said,
living room.
you're right in your living room and you're entertaining, and you didn't put your belongings away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know the response. I shouldn't have to put my belongings away if I trust people in my house. You're right. But better safe than sorry, because you know what?
Right.
I trust all the people that I would even give my address to.
Right.
But
Right.
my money
you don't
could be
know.
put away.
You don't, nah, it's just the fact. It's just the fact that I don't want to give people the opportunity to for that to even cross their mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what niggas is going through.
Right.
Hate to say it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it
That's
is.
a crime of opportunity. I didn't come in here. I wasn't looking to steal, but there's $500 sitting right in front of me.
found me.
Right.
Like,
said
you
it found
can't
me.
stop God. I got a $500 problem, and there is $500.
right here.
Like, who am I to stop God's blessing?
But yeah, so
Yeah.
That's so wild.
So basically, we went through that. And then he didn't talk to me for a year and a half or 2 years, because that's what he was on, and I get it, but at the same time, he didn't know who I was, and then I'm like, yo, cause I looked at my friend and I'm like, yo, he's been to my house before, he's never taken money, but at the same time, you're right, my money is put away.
Yeah.
I never seen him just looking through stuff to look for it either, but so
Like you said, crime opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so but we ended up squashing beef after that. He figured out who took the money. We was good after that.
One of his people.
Nah, it wasn't his people, it was his girl at the time people. It was one of her cousins. So one of the people that came for the graduation party, same thing. They popped in, it was like, oh yeah, money's right there. They snatched it.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up finding out. But it's a lesson learned.
Right.
But yeah, nah. But it was tough because it's like, all right, so who does he trust at that moment? Because
And that's still wild too, because if you found out it's his girl's cousin, he didn't speak to you for 2 years. It took him 2 years to find out the intel. Like, come on, bro.
but
That's pride.
that's
You
what
found out within 60 days.
Yeah, facts.
Like, that's $500. You've seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. Who came back with something new next week?
Nice bracelet.
Oh, you just got an Xbox, word?
How much that run you? I said about $500.
Right.
I got about
I got about $500.
All right, Debo.
That's crazy, man. Like,
So yeah, so
2 years to not.
but like I said, the only reason I gave him that grace is because he doesn't know
I
me.
get that.
So I'm I don't want him to feel like, all right, he can't talk, because at the end of the day, you're still my brother. I respect you. I have brothers. I've
There's
grown
no
up.
disrespect to your brother, bro, but the retraction has to be as loud as the statement. And he went to you with a level of vitriol that he could confidently trust all the people in his home, excluding you and your friend. And with that being said, logic checks out. He could if he was playing Clue,
Yeah.
he's not bugging. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
when you find out you're wrong,
I get you.
it's not just flipping pictures on Clue.
Right.
You actually assassinated somebody's character.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
double back and be like, yo, my bad. And I appreciate the fact that you can even understand how I got there.
Right.
Because it made sense to you. But now that I know that I'm wrong, my bad.
Nah, he said that. So he did it
2 years later.
Yes. Yes.
I just need a little bit less time on it.
Yeah.
Nah, I hear you. So.
Yeah.
No, not to him. You know what I mean?
Nah, it's I don't know. So I don't know, but what I do know is he learned from it, and
That's
that's the one I'll take. Cause I'm like, yo, I don't want you to feel that way. Plus, I want him to know like you're my brother, and I look at you as my brother. I respect you as my brother, and basically to reciprocate that, because I have other brothers that they don't, but it's also because because we didn't know each other for so long. Plus, they're older, so like they knew us, but we didn't know them.
Okay.
So like from their point of view, they may have looked at it like, oh, we knew the whole time, and you just been like all of a sudden now you want to be family. All of a sudden now you want so like, because of that, like that whole what's the word I'm looking for, demographic kind of. That's why I gave him that grace, because I'm like, you don't know who I am. Plus, like I have a half brother, and I know how he felt about me, because in his head he was like, oh, your mom took our family away, and that's what.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So because I have that information,
Those
like
are very tough kid dynamics.
listen,
Like I've had friends with similar sibling scenarios where
Yeah.
like, you know, like siblings are blaming other siblings for the ruining of what they viewed as their cookie cutter family.
yeah,
It's tough.
And they're actively going through the trauma, but blaming someone else. It's like, these is grown people problems, bro. Don't blame me.
Yeah, yeah. But it had nothing to do with
I
that.
can't see that.
right. But you,
I got
as
it the same way you did.
as kids, you don't think about it that way. You just like, think about what you're here. And because I had that experience, like I had prior knowledge, so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm a maneuver through the situation like this, because I know he doesn't know me. To him, he could still feel some type of way, because my stepdad is his actual dad. So like,
I get it.
like so I'm like, all right. So like he might look and have because I knew how my half brother felt. I'm like, he could feel the same way. He could have that animosity towards me, like, yo,
I wouldn't even know you if dad didn't start digging your mom.
right.
But it'd be like, you know what I mean? It'd really be like that. Like, yo, now you stealing my rent money? Nigga.
Yeah. On top of it.
I'm over here trying to be nice to a nigga I'm not even supposed to know, and you got the nerve to take the rent money.
Right, right. So that's why I tried to give him that grace. I mean, they didn't try, I gave it to him.
Right,
So,
right.
we're still cool to this day. That's my guy.
That's what's up.
Nah, that's good though. We got more guys, or y'all feeling like we may have said some solid points?
Yeah, man. I feel good about the conversation,
Yeah, me too.
for sure. This is one of those conversations that has so many variables to it, man. We could get back to it later, or you know what I mean, move on to the next.
Yeah. Amber Haywood said discernment is key.
Facts.
For real, for real.
That's your lady, correct?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yo. But yeah, but that's the truth of the matter. Like, you gotta know.
So I guess anyone have any closing statements?
Get your Christian apparel. Spread the word .store or spreadthegoodword.com.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to tell everybody the word. You can just wear it. No, I'm kidding.
How about you, sir?
Nah. I think I left it all on the table, man.
Yeah, and I think everybody be careful and be mindful of motives, and word to your lady, use your discernment,
Absolutely.
because you know, everybody may mean well, but they may not mean well for you.
True.
Bars.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got one last thing to say. Just to hold down my man AJ, allow Jesus to be the lotion that lathers.
You're
Your
right.
ashy
So,
soul.
So.
We out.
peace. Next week.
Seven days in a week, eat a steak, every plate is a feast. Watch your weight, no mistakes in the least, or else you too will dig a grave with your teeth. I wish that I could.
Amber was saying that earlier on. She said that she was watching on DBN, and she said the audio was a little janky.
Oh, is it?
But she switched over to Logic Bass, and she said it was clear.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I really don't even really get like that.
He said it's Nah, but I muted all the mics, so we can say whatever.
No.
That's what I started doing. I'm like, yo, after the stream's over, just mute all the mics, so we say whatever we want to say. Just let the music play for a little bit, and then go straight.
No, I feel you on that. I agree wholeheartedly.
Given the platform and the location, but your fandom and your folks ain't really gonna grind with us like that.
I think it appeared, not in a bad way, but you know what I mean? Like it just appeared like it'd be like a mutually beneficial. Now it's just like you're out of space.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, I said it. I think it appeared like because at first it's like, oh, you gotta upload to our channel. It's like, okay, that makes sense. And then it's like, yo, it'd be great if you upload to our channel. And like you're like, yo, they got a head start. I had a 700 subscriber base, so that's better than 0.
Right.
But then I'm like, man, AJ got just as many subscribers as them.
Just about.
Yeah.
I'm like, and we can actually utilize that platform, though, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm like, I think we'll be alright.
For sure.